Let's start off Koppai Podcast episode 32 with a little bit of play and tell. If you want to engage in this conversation, listener at home, be sure to comment down below with what games you've been playing. But first and foremost, Zach.
Yes.
What have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing actually quite a bit of stuffs. I guess we could start with I've been playing Pokemon Go, of course.
Everyone's been 10% of America has been playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's...
If you go to Walmart and there's 100 people in your local Walmart, 10 people are in there right now playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah, that's very true. That's probably a little bit more than that, actually. And your average
Also,
Walmart.
if you look over and you see someone doing like a cartwheel while tweeting, 2 more people are probably playing Pokemon Go because there's more people tweeting than there are on Twitter.
Mm.
Or if you see someone, like if you meet someone, if you go on a date and you're on Tinder and you meet like a girl and she's super pretty and you go out on a date and you get to fall in love and stuff, about 5 more people probably were meeting through Pokemon Go at that same time. Because more people are on Pokemon Go than Tinder. These are all solid facts.
This is, some sound logic.
Yeah.
I have definitely toned it down quite a bit in my Pokemon Go playing, but I did hit level 21 today finally. They released that update for it, so I've been checking that out. Basically, we'll probably talk about the update a little bit more later, but really good update except for the fact that the footprints are gone. That's the only complaint really with it, but otherwise, great improvements. I'm looking forward to more with it. Just the thing is trying to not spend money on it and also getting down to kind of the nitty-gritty of my Pokeballs, on average, and kind of having to, it's forcing me. It's kind of, if you play a lot of a free-to-play game and you start getting a good distance into it, if you're not going to spend money on it, it kind of forces you to slow down a bit, which I have really no problems doing. So I'm really enjoying just the kind of easy breezy pace that I'm going with it. So yeah, definitely still playing Pokemon Go, and I will still be going with that for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I was walking around a little bit downtown this week. I played a little bit more last night with the update, which we'll talk about in the Pokeblock coming up later. But it's nice how much more refined it is, and I'm in no rush to experience the game at its worst is kind of my philosophy right now. The game is at its worst right now not because it's bad, but because they're going to be improving it. And there's lots of issues I have with the game as far as the experience of hunting Pokemon and how certain things work. And I don't mind just waiting until they kind of iron all that stuff out. I have plenty of other stuff to play, and so when I'm out for a walk, yeah, sure, I'll pull out Pokemon Go and maybe hatch an egg or something. If I'm at, the downtown area, I'll see if there's a Pokemon nearby, and I'll check it real quickly. I'll pull it out, look at it, look around, see if there's a Pokemon. But I have no problem now with just putting it back in my pocket now. The first week, it was, I'm not going to let my phone have anything else on the screen unless it's Pokemon Go.
Right, yeah.
And now it's you know what, I can open up some other apps, I can look at the actual world and stuff, and then just go to somewhere else. But I voiced these concerns in in our previous recording of this episode that I am kind of worried. The other day it was raining and I didn't get to play all week because it was raining outside. And I've also just noticed that so many of the things are around downtown areas or big places that I don't really want to go on a walk towards. Any place that's more beautiful, like a scenic park or somewhere off the beaten path, is usually just Pokemon I already have because it's just randomly kind of generated Rattatas and Pidgeys. It makes me wonder if they're going to do something to kind of fix that, where I don't really want to go just to high cellular areas to have to catch these Pokemon. And so, definitely not done with the game.
Well, I think it's a huge deterrent really from the game that this nearby system isn't really working. I think that was a huge, fun aspect of it, was being able to see the footsteps go down and kind of head a direction, even if it was for the Pidgey or the Rattata, as long as you knew otherwise it feels there's this, clunk of nearby Pokemon. I'll walk around and one of them might pop up one of these places, and it just takes away, I think, a lot of the fun, which a lot of it was because it's so bare bones. There's not a lot to the game. That's 50% of the game almost, virtually.
Yeah.
You could,
I hope they add from the initial trailer where it had like arrows, like directions, and how many meters. So it would be like Pikachu is 30 meters away,
Yeah.
Maybe like north, like just a general direction or something, or as you get closer, it starts to pinpoint the actual direction. So like, once you get within 50 meters, it's like, okay, now he's this way, so you can like actually pinpoint where he's at. Or maybe the opposite, where like when he's 200 meters away, it's like, he's 200 meters north, he's 100 meters north, he's within 25 meters, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Maybe that's why they took it away, like they're just completely revamping it. I hope that's the sign. We'll talk about all that more later, but we've also been doing some Nuzlocke challenges that we'll also talk about later in the Pokeblock. You and I both, though, have been playing some Grand Theft Auto, which we know is not Nintendo, but they have some cunning stunts out there.
Oh, yeah, some flipperoos and little tunnels, majestic flying through the sky. It's so beautiful.
Fun.
Yeah, it's relaxing, but it's also, if you want, it can be, high action and intense,
Yeah, my biggest frustration is that people are such jerks online.
Yeah.
Odds are that if you're listening to this podcast, if you're a Nintendo gamer in this generation, you also have a PlayStation or an Xbox, and odds are if you have a PlayStation or an Xbox, you probably also have Grand Theft Auto 5. As for how many people are playing online and how many people are playing online and cunning stunts, then we get to some dwindling numbers, but
yeah.
Most people probably relate to this regardless of Nintendo or not. And yeah, the new update, if you haven't been playing online, if you haven't been playing the updates, definitely go check it out. People are actually really equating it to Mario Kart 8. So if you prefer like more wacky, insane kart racer games compared to regular racing games, this may actually be right up your alley because it is like realistic race cars. You have speed, acceleration, traction, you're racing in sports cars, muscle cars, all of that, but there's turbo boost, there's flips, there's flipperoos, there's tunnels. It's so fun, and it has such a good style to it, too.
And anti-gravity, there's a lot of anti-gravity sort of things that they do where you're able to ride upside down and ride on the walls and, get
what's interesting,
momentum.
Though, you say that, but what's interesting is they never do break their physics engine. They never abandon complete and total gravity. So there are moments where it's if you don't do it just right, if you're doing a loop or if you're doing a turn and you miss the booster or you miss the thing that makes it so it's possible. It's crazy to see your car kind of tilt and go. It does all kind of become real again. And there's moments where it's you're going through a tunnel. It's I don't know what's up or what's down. So then you put on your brakes and you fall down. It's oh, I was upside down.
Yeah.
But it really makes me want to play Fast Racing Neo and the F-Zero games because it's kind of scratching this itch that I didn't know I have or had of this love for racing games. I was at the store the other day and they had an Xbox demo set up with Forza Horizon, and I tried that out, and it was I didn't realize, but I'm kind of drawn to these games. I guess I grew up on Mario Kart, so I have this appreciation for a racing game, but it kind of awakened something in me that I didn't know I really had going on. So I'm excited to try out some more racing games. I guess kind of speaking. Oh, wait, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, back in the day, we used to play the Cruisin' USA and stuff games.
We did, yeah.
A ton, and just really arcadey ones. But we would always. I think there's just something really relaxing about racing games too. There's an intensity to it, but also just going for a cruise and a game that has really great scenery and use of the effects and graphics. It's just a fun experience and feels good. And because I even think a game like Euro Truck Simulator, which isn't really a racing game, but you're just a trucker kind of going, there's a really relaxing vibe to that game. But even way back when we played those games, we would just go basically on a cruise and liked the idea that you could go from, city to city just driving. It wasn't really entirely even about the racing. It was just kind of going from destination to destination in a sort of just enjoying the environment and the process and just the gameplay of racing. So it's just a fun genre, regardless. This was really, you gotta check out that Air Race Xeno game because those kind of have that, another sort of driving and relaxing sort of thing to them.
I was gonna say, speaking of racing, there
Yeah.
is Air Race Xeno that I did try out between our previous recording of this podcast and this re-recording. In the previous recording, I hadn't tried out the game, but I'm like,
there's
you
a
know
demo
what?
of it, isn't there?
There's 2 demos.
Oh, nice.
Air Race Xeno is a game that we've been doing with this play and tell thing. Zach's been playing it. He loves it. Air Race Xeno and Air Race Speed are both available for just a few bucks on the Nintendo eShop. I tried a little bit of it out, and also I was going to ask everyone listening to this podcast if you would appreciate a new segment on the show, or maybe an extension of this segment where we discuss deals and demos on the Nintendo eShop. I'm kind of toying with the idea in my mind, because that's what I've been doing a lot of recently, is just going on the eShop and looking for deals and demos and games to play for free to kind of expand my knowledge of Nintendo games. And it can take a little bit, because they've gotten better with the eShop, but it's not completely intuitive quite yet compared to something like the PlayStation Network, which has had a lot of time to get refined. And so it can be nice maybe as a listener to have someone do that for you and find fun games to play for free or for cheap. Air Race Xeno is one of those. It's basically, Zach, you described it as those final levels of Star Fox where you're just zipping through the sky. Mm-hmm. I played a little bit, and I would agree. I actually wasn't the hugest fan of it. I was way more fond of Air Race Speed than Air Race Xeno.
Yeah, and I haven't tried out Speed yet. All I got was I did purchase Air Race Xeno, and have been just playing through all of that and getting all the 3 medals in each level and stuff. So
it's hard.
Yeah, it's pretty hard, and it's not
brutal.
too hard. Once you kind of get the hang of it, it gets like very, very, very like easy. Because I just hold down the nitro the entire time I play.
Really? Because that's the thing, is I was wondering if maybe like you found like a flow of not doing that, because in the game you have basically 3 controls: nitro, brake, or steer. Like,
yeah. Well, then you have your you can use the...
Oh yeah, you can roll, do a barrel roll and all that.
Yeah.
And so you're either going 3 speeds, like super fast, normal speed, or basically stopping.
Yeah.
And the game is all about timing, so you want to, like, it's very arcadey, where you want to get to the end as fast as possible. And so you have to use nitro, but there's some sudden twists and turns in these tunnels and these space objects flying at you, where, I mean, if you think you're a Star Fox pro and that you can divvy out of things left and right, like, go ahead and give this game a try. I think it's $2 for...
Yeah, it's very inexpensive. Speed. Yeah, and it definitely can feel like, when I found out about the game, there was like 2 reviewers who were talking about it, and one of them was like not... they had the kind of... It can be very daunting at first, because, especially if you like hold down the nitro and are trying to just go top speed. But once, like, maybe play through the level like once with just normal speed, and then once... Especially the ones that aren't the infinite, because there's only a few levels in the game that are actually, that just repeat themselves over and over again, like infinite laps, and those kind of switch up a bit, but otherwise all of the other tracks are laps that you can kind of memorize, so that once you do a lap, you'll know, like, you gotta go down at this part, up at this part, and so it becomes almost muscle memory for certain ones of these tracks, and you can kind of try to expand, like, the things you do and maybe go down because there's speed boosters and stuff. But really, it can definitely seem a little bit daunting at first. But once I found that once you got the hang of it, basically, it just kind of clicks. And then basically every single level you don't really have much of a problem with. Maybe you crash once or twice or something. But it's really fun, I thought it was just a really crazy game. The 3D looks really great on it.
The 3D was impressive.
And for such an inexpensive amount, I almost felt it was, I don't know, I don't want to say it was better than Star Fox Zero, but like I wish that they did more. Like, Nintendo, I feel, really needs to take a game like that genre, and push. I feel like they could do some really crazy magical stuff with, I don't even know what to call the genre, what it is exactly, but,
I mean, I guess kind of like racing or something. But,
yeah, it is, yeah.
I was gonna say, the only thing that I did like a lot more about Star Fox, especially Star Fox Zero, is I do like the all range mode where you can fly wherever.
Yeah.
And I also wish there was like a air race shooting or something where you could shoot,
Yeah.
like maybe have one focused on speed and have one focused on kind of dodging, but also have one focused on maybe like enemies flying at you and stuff.
And online, adding multiplayer to it also, I think they really need to do, because it would be really fun to go on these courses and each maybe be in our own like individual space, but trying to reach the finish without, exploding, most times, or, however you could do that. It might get, I guess, because once it gets to the point where you both have a mastery of a particular stage and they're not too incredibly long, they would probably have to expand it in such a way that makes it a little more complicated, because it could be getting to the point where each time you race a friend, you're getting the same basic time, but like a fraction of, 0.34 seconds on the time, trying to beat that, which can still be fun, but it also can get just really repetitive pretty quickly, so. But yeah, that's a really fun game, and for the price point, you really can't beat it.
Some other demos we've been trying out. We did the demo of Kirby Planet Robobot. Just the kind of short synopsis of that, I think, is that it confirmed to me, as someone who's played Kirby Triple Deluxe, that Kirby Planet Robobot is more of the same, which is good for someone having played Triple Deluxe. Triple Deluxe is like the best Kirby game I've played forever, and Planet Robobot seems to define all of that. Zach, you had a few notes that the demo of Planet Robobot was a little on the short side and not too much of a taste or completely clear. I do want to encourage people that do go try it out if you have the same experience where you think it's a little too short. There is a lot that the demo doesn't show off, like as far as collectibles and the world system and all of that. That does bring a lot of it together. There's a kind of a lack of context in the demo. But I think you enjoyed the gameplay of it, though.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the gameplay. I thought that it was a really fun demo. It was really cute, and just seemed like it was nostalgic in a lot of ways, because I grew up on a lot of Kirby. But I still play like Kirby's Adventure. I have it on my 3DS. The 3D version is really, really cool. But the thing is about it is, my biggest concern with it was, I don't know if it completely if it justified for itself the $40 price point at this time for me, especially since, like, with my budget and school starting back up and really having to take these things into high consideration. It's like, I would definitely purchase, I think, Triple Deluxe first for like the lower price point, and maybe wait for this to go down $10 or $20, because I feel like especially coming off, I think I made the point in the Lost episode about Air Racino and the game we'll talk about, Gunman Clive and stuff, about these more inexpensive titles that are on the eShop that offer a lot of experience, a lot of gameplay, and hours and replayability that sometimes just look a little more appealing because just the price point and the amount of value inside of those. But with Kirby, it was like, I don't know if they need to reconsider some of these titles, if they want to release Kirby as more of a $20 sort of indie-like title. But then I had to ask you about it, because like you said, it doesn't give a lot of context. You said that Triple Deluxe just seems to go on and on and on. It's a really big game.
Yeah.
They do add the collectibles at the end of the stage, which it didn't tell you that in the demo. So I'm definitely like, I wish that it had shown me more in the demo itself, but I do feel sold on the game. Like, I do definitely want to get it. I had a great time with the demo, but is it a game that I want to run out and buy, as soon as possible? I don't think so. Like, especially with, all the games that I have already to play in my catalog of games. It's like, that game and also Triple Deluxe was kind of in the same boat, where I felt I can give those games some time before I really get to them. Like, they didn't seem too urgent. But I am definitely getting more into like kind of craving a good Kirby game again. So
Triple Deluxe would be the way to go.
I definitely think I'll start there. So, but yeah. Good demo though, but very short.
Yeah. And you had mentioned kind of Gunman Clive there.
I think we also talked, I want to make the comment on Robobot. I did like how in the, like, mech suit sort of Robobot stage, there was certain elements, like when the treasure chest falls.
Oh yeah.
You like chop a block and it kind of affects what's going down, because there's this sort of effect where you jump, like it kind of does this in Donkey Kong Country Returns, I think, and like the old Virtual Boy Wario, where you hop back and forth between the foreground and the background, basically, and so elements that you interact with in the foreground can, screw up things behind the level, and then you'll go back to those later on and be like, oh crap, so you have to there's some puzzly elements to it, which I really, really enjoyed, especially if you're one of those that likes to collect every single, thing that's in the level, and it actually tallies those things up, so,
Yeah, it tallies those things up, and there's some moments where, especially in Triple Deluxe, where I know there's a huge complaint nowadays that Kirby is so easy to play, and it is. Like, it's kind of like babies or kids first or whatever, like first platformer game. It's designed with the fact. You gotta kind of try to die,
right.
And there's things like that. But if you want to go for the whole, I want to get all the collectibles, there's lots of moments where like you can't use the puff up thing, like that you can't puff up and go, because that slows down your jumping and your movement so much. And there's some times where like the keychain or the sticker or the collectible or whatever, like you need to race to, and you need to jump just quick little hops and dodge these enemies and do certain things like that. So for the people that want it, the challenge is there. Same way like with Yoshi's Woolly World, like there's experiences there, and they're rewarding too, like to complete your whole collection of the collectibles. And I think sometimes they even unlock bonus stages, like if you do get all of them similar once again to Yoshi's Woolly World. And so the demo showcases that very well. So see if you can maybe play the demo and try to get all the collectibles. I think one of the demos only has, like one of the levels in the demo only has one collectible, and the other one has like 3 you can find. And there's some that like if you mess up and hit the wrong thing or go through the wrong door, like you're done. Like you can't get that other collectible, so you have to replay the whole level, which adds a lot of fun to the game, adds a lot of challenge, replayability, and stuff like that. And so try out that demo, and if it is something that you like, I don't know if there's a Triple Deluxe demo, but if it's something that you like, it's available on the eShop, and then I would start off with Triple Deluxe so you get that natural evolution, because Planet Robobot is a step up.
It's kind of a sequel, so.
Yeah, but to round out the play and tell, we've been playing the Pokemon trading card game, which we will talk about more in the Pokeblock, but you've also been playing Gunman Clive and Pack Attack.
Yeah, I've been playing, a lot of both of these games, actually. I finally went through, and I've had Gunman Clive, the first one, for quite a while now on my 3DS, just sort of sitting. Yeah, and then you'd said
I'll play them for next week's play and tell. That's my home now.
And these games, like, I can't believe I sat on it for so long, because it's a really, really great little couple games, and it's basically the Air Racino sort of value, where it's like $5, and I'd say actually Gunman Clive 1 and 2 are probably much better games than Air Racino. I probably will come back to these a lot more, like, in the future over the years. I could see it being remembered very fondly as a kind of hidden gem, or just a great game on the 3DS. Takes great advantage of the 3D, and has this sort of sketch look that reminds me of, what was that Kirby game on the SNES that kind of had the sketched sort of look? It was like Dreamland 3 or something, which had and it had a very
Adventure in Dreamland or Return to Dreamland or something like that.
Yeah, it had a very like sketched kind of look, and it was very cool. This has a little bit more of a black and white, or actually the second one does more with color than the first one, but basically it's like, imagine kind of a Mega Man-ish sort of game, because it's kind of a run and shoot, but it has a lot of elements from the Mega Man games, but also, especially in Gunman Clive 2, it goes into more of like a Super Mario World sort of vibe. Like, it has a lot of elements that you can definitely see were inspired from that game, but mixing that with like Mega Man elements and just kind of its own unique things, and also kind of first person sort of thing, shoot 'em up sort of inspired thing. It kind of just goes crazy with itself. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's just a complete blast to play. And it has different difficulty modes. You unlock more when you beat it. It has like rewards for beating levels in certain times, so it has definitely a lot of replay value, and the whole collection's like $5, so it's like you really can't beat it. So yeah, definitely go check out those games. Like without spoiling it at all, it just goes completely crazy, and you're gonna love it. So
yeah, I'm excited because I already own it, so
yeah,
I'm gonna be able to go play that, and I'll share my thoughts. Maybe we can give like a full in-depth thing. Next week. But yeah, you've also been playing Pack Attack. I've been playing Sonic Dash. Sonic Dash is available for free on the mobile phones.
I've been playing some Sonic Dash too, trying to get the classic Sonic, all those cartridges.
I think maybe I may like play that on my phone just because it's so mindless. Maybe I'll play that while I do Koppai this week. But yeah, so Sonic Dash is available for free, and they also have a special promotion right now where if you do play the game and you collect these little cartridges, you can unlock the classic Sonic from Sonic Generations and the upcoming Project Sonic 2017. And so that's maybe a fun game if you don't want to spend any money this week, but you want a full new game. It's like a good game where, I mean, you can really play it and try to beat your score and compete with people and see how far you can go. Like it's one of those classic kind of arcade games where it's just designed around the fact of beating your old high score. It's completely available for free on your phone, and I think it's one of those mobile games where it's just super fun and simple, and actually it's not even like necessarily like some sort of sellout thing of having like making a Sonic game or making a popular franchise just kind of shoveled in, or what's the funneled in or whatever, just I don't know, pushed onto some sort of market that doesn't belong. Like Sonic really lends himself well to this genre of endless runners.
Yeah,
they do a clever thing, like where you can do the spin dash by moving your thumb down and hopping up. And the game's been out for a long time. But the classic Sonic is a new feature on there, and they've also just refined the game a lot since it released. So if you haven't gone back to it in a while, definitely do that and kind of prepare for Sonic Mania. Which, by the way, who was the person that made that Sonic Mania video that you just showed me the other day?
Crap. I could check that out really quickly here, but
maybe we'll tweet it out. Follow Koppai Media or follow Koppai Gaming on Twitter. Just at Koppai Gaming, and we'll tweet that out sometime this week. Really interesting video on the development of Sonic Mania, the people behind making the game. Definitely generates a lot of hype for it. And so
it was Super Bunny Hop.
Super Bunny Hop on YouTube.
And the video is called Taxman and Stealth, the story behind Sonic Mania's fan-turned-developers.
There we go. So if we don't tweet it out, if we forget, there you go. And also we do have some discussion on Sonic. That was last week's topic of the show. And so if you just go to topic of the show on our playlist, you can find that there. Super hyped for that game. But did you want to talk about Pack Attack at all?
Yeah, Pack Attack is just kind of a obscure SNES title that I don't think is really, it was so obscure and I don't think really gained any traction, so it might be kind of difficult to find, but it's, basically it's a combination of Tetris, Dr. Mario, and Pac-Man, and it's a really unique game, it's really crazy and kind of hard to picture that once you hear that fusion of those styles. But it's really, really cool where instead of sort of the viruses that are coming down or the pills, I guess, it's ghosts that are falling, and they're falling alongside blocks that are like Tetris blocks. And so as you build up your screen, you're basically building up sort of a Tetris screen that also has little ghosts, and then every once in a while, every 5 moves or so, Pac-Man will come down and he'll eat some of the ghosts. But he'll be facing a certain direction, only eat the ghosts that he's facing, and they can't be blocked off by one of the blocks and stuff. So there's a lot of strategy and kind of choosing where you're going to put these ghosts versus the blocks, and where is Pac-Man's route going to be, and what's he going to take, and kind of having to strategize in that way. So it adds this whole other element to it, and it has great Pac-Man music and does a lot of those kind of vibes. It has a high score board so that you can try to get to number 1. It has a great 2-player mode and also this puzzle mode that I haven't tried out yet, but it was just really unique and interesting, and I'd heard that it was a hidden gem on the SNES, so I was like, man, I just gotta check out this Pack Attack game, and went and tried it, and I keep coming back to it because it's like great for just picking up and playing a quick game that kind of fuses Dr. Mario, Pac-Man, and Tetris, which are 3 like really great, arcadey games. So it's really, really fun, and I've had a lot
to play. It's like the perfect companion to Super Smash Bros. It's just all of the
definitely.
the retro stuff all in one.
Yeah.
But yeah, is it available? Are you just like playing it like on the SNES, or is it available? Do they have it like on the eShop at all, or is it?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I've just been playing like they unlocked the Vita this week and stuff, so I've been trying some of those out, and basically like what I've kind of got the impression of is that you're not really going to be able to find a copy of it anyway, and if you go on to maybe like eBay, like the developers aren't going to be getting a cut of this game like 25 years after its release. It's one of these like really old SNES games that also is like not very well known also, so basically, you can try to find a copy on eBay. I just kind of tried experimenting with like the new Vita like emulator feature and tried it out on there, and so it's really cool. So yeah. That's
don't children listening, don't steal games. But if there's a game like that,
they need to release it on the eShop. Nintendo, get on that.
That's what we're saying. But when they finally do support them. Support Nintendo, support the developers, like with games like Sonic Mania, we gotta make sure they know the demand for things like this, because that's why they do certain things that are stupid on the eShop with all these games, is because people are out there stealing them. But no, it's like, I think Jared Petty from IGN, like, has notoriously said, like, unless the developer makes it available to you, like, just go ahead and steal it, like with games like Earth or Mother 3, like.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
they're not going to give it to us, then we'll just make it ourselves. But
well, and there's the point too. I read some really great point today about piracy, about the fact that most piracy is for one, it is people that couldn't afford it anyway, that aren't making any income, so they really don't make much of a difference because they wouldn't have bought your game anyway. They can't afford it, and they're just trying to experience it. So they are stealing it and they're experiencing it for free, but also they wouldn't have given you the money. And on the second point is that most people who like pirate games and have an income, they want to buy the games. Like, I really don't pirate games. Like, I don't download PC games illegally and stuff. I always purchase my games, but the fact is that that's the case with most people. If you make some money, you're going to want the physical copy of your game. You're going to want to get the copy that works online and works in flawlessly.
Well, you did the same with Civilization. You had Civilization 5, I think, for a while, just to try it out, because you had never played the Civilization game, and then the moment you found out you liked it, you're like, all right, I'm gonna buy it, and so now we can play online together, and there's some moral gray to that and stuff, but I mean, I think that should also encourage developers, go ahead and just make a demo for your game, that's all we want.
Well, it also encourages, I guess, special edition steelbook things, because we really love those, and people just eat those up, so, it kind of encourages that route too.
But yeah, be sure to leave comments down below on what you've been playing, and go ahead and tell us about that, and also let us know if you would like a separate segment or an extension of this segment where we talk about the eShop deals and demos. And also be sure to like and subscribe if you're listening to the individual snippet on YouTube, or if we make a separate snippet of this discussion anywhere else.